A ceasefire is in effect in the Gaza Strip today. Hamas and Israel agreed to a 3-day truce to set the stage for peace talks. During the month-long conflict, the world has seen scores of media images of Israeli attacks on Hamas targets in Gaza. But as Chris Mitchell reports, the media hasn't been showing the other side of the story. Hamas militants invading Israel and launching rockets at the Jewish state. Here's that story.
For more than a month, Israel's efforts to stop Gaza rocket fire and destroy Hamas tunnels has made headlines and led newscasts around the world. Two images dominate the war between Israel and Hamas. On one side is Israel's military actions, like airstrikes, artillery, and ground troops. On the other side, video of Palestinians suffering, wounded, or killed in those military actions. But what's missing?
In Gaza, we have not seen Hamas fighters. They are not roaming the streets of Gaza City. They're not carrying weapons. Where are they? We've never seen those pictures in 4 weeks of reporting from this region.
The Western press has not had access to the fighting arm of Hamas. So the impression creating is you have an Israeli army fighting and you have Palestinians on the other side. And that's already playing into Hamas's media strategy.
Hamas media watchdogs also crush what they consider negative reports. Hamas expelled this reporter from the Gaza Strip for his reports on Twitter. CBN News' George Thomas spoke with him inside Gaza.
He came to us, in essence, telling us that he was hauled in by Hamas militants and interrogated and threatened, and said that they didn't like the tweets he was tweeting, in essence, telling the world that Hamas was using civilian areas, in this particular case, using this journalist's hotel right next to his hotel to fire off rockets from the Gaza Strip into Israel. And they gave him 24 hours to get out of the Strip.
Italian journalist Gabriele Barbati posted this on Twitter only after leaving Hamas-controlled Gaza. Out of Gaza, far from Hamas retaliation, misfired rocket killed children yesterday in Shati. Witness: militants rushed and cleared debris. His tweet corroborated the IDF account that Hamas rockets, not the IDF, hit the Al-Shifa hospital on July 28th. Filmmaker Michael Greenspan posted this exchange with a Spanish journalist on Facebook. I asked him, how come we never see on television channels reporting from Gaza any Hamas people? No gunmen, no rocket launcher, no policemen. We only see civilians on these reports, mostly women and children. He answered me frankly, it's very simple. We did see Hamas people there launching rockets. They were close to our hotel. But if ever we dare pointing our camera on them, they would simply shoot at us and kill us.
There was evidence that Hamas was using hospitals, schools, civilian neighborhoods, mosques to launch their rockets. There was evidence of that, but they did not want the Western world to know that.
Oren says keeping the Western world in the dark works with predictable and devastating consequences.
They're using the civilian population as human shields, and so Israel, no matter how cautious it is, it invariably ends up causing civilian casualties. That creates very painful pictures on television screens that immediately incites the streets, particularly in Europe and South America. That immediately translates into diplomatic pressure in the Security Council and human rights groups.
They realize that they have a captive audience among Western journalists to report one side, to show these horrific pictures of men, women, and children injured, killed. Look, we don't excuse this. It's horrible. This is war. These are the realities of war. But you have to be able to question Hamas straightforward. You have to ask them, are you using United Nations facilities? Are you using schools? Are you using mosques and places of worship?
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.